Music is your DNA. It's your purpose, your motivator, your catalyst. My name is Alex J, and I'll be your tour guide onto the journey towards your new professional music career. Join me as we uncover the music industry's secrets. From creative concepts to business and marketing, here are the keys to the next level. Welcome to the Music Chop Shop. Greetings! What's up, everybody? Alex J here, again for Music Mastermind with another episode of the Music Chop Shop podcast, where we break down the music industry one slice at a time. So if you're tuning in for the first time, I want to welcome you. If you're an old listener, we love you forever. This podcast is designed for all of those music makers, myself included, that want to take their professional music career to the next level. And we're providing you with tools and food for thought to improve your situation and take you on a journey to your next phase of your music career. So super excited to see you. Can't wait to share a lot of the things we have prepared for you. In today's episode, we're kind of doing a recap on our initial episode. So if you haven't seen that, totally recommend to go back and watch that. And where we spoke about three archetypes or three types of people that go after their dreams very differently. Okay, in this case, we're talking about the cheapskate. We all know this person. There's a lot of them out there, and you know, the reason I bring these up before I even start, it's not even just to like make you feel bad about what you are, or it's about to illustrate the pain points that you have, so you understand kind of like why you act the way you do, and help you move forward. Okay, so that's kind of like why I am focusing so hard, especially in this initial episodes, kind of like philosophical, because a big part of your success comes from having an open mind and just pushing forward with your, basically having a dedication to your mission, you know, and that requires a strong mind and just commitment, a lot of commitment. So that's why we're trying to identify all the roadblocks before we even go anywhere, because once you know what's stopping you and you clear it out of your way, then just, you know, there's not stopping you. You're just going forward. That being said, let's define who that cheapskate is, or what makes that cheapskate a cheapskate. So what's funny about a cheapskate, or somebody who's really cheap with themselves or their craft, it's that they normally have the money or the financial requirements to take their career to the next level, but they talk big but they perform small. See, they're always nagging about the opportunity's never gonna come my way because it's too much of a financial risk. Like, I don't want to invest that money to then be disappointed, or I don't need to be at that level. Like, that's too much. I'm okay with being like, you know, class B or C, a subpar, not being, you know, where I should be or whatever. Kind of like talking themselves down, which is really, you know, they're sabotaging themselves because they value money over the things they can buy, like, you know, like personal relationships or spiritual fulfillment. And they don't understand that money is a vehicle that gives you more and more of what matters. And I'm not talking about anything economical, you know, like purchasing power or anything, any other things. It's having the time to do whatever it is that you want to do, you know, and having amazing relationships all around you so that, you know, you're motivated and you're moving forward happily, you know, just enjoying the journey, and just, you know, it's such a big difference. A lot of people are just kind of like moping through life and just, you know, going with the flow. And the moment that there's a chance to invest in themselves, they completely throw it out the window because of X, Y, and Z. So many excuses. And those excuses, sadly, they drag you down. They prevent you from being the best version of yourself. So, you know, first step to fixing that situation, if you're that person who's like super cheap about everything and you don't invest at all in yourself, you're a cheapskate. The first thing you need to acknowledge is that you are one. You know, you are a cheapskate. Okay, and you might say like, "Oh, I'm not a cheapskate," but everybody tells me I am. But I don't see how I'm a cheapskate. I just don't want to spend money. And it's awkward to me. Like, okay, let me give you some context, and you tell me if it sounds like a cheapskate or not. Okay, so if every time you see a free offer, something free, you jump out of excitement, right? And the moment it costs like $1, $10, $100, you're like, oh no, this, I don't want to spend that money. Like, there's no need to spend that money. I could do it myself. I could do better. And you literally live on coupons. Like, you're on Groupon just trying to find the cheapest thing all the time, not because you need to, but because you want to, because your mind has programmed itself to kind of like go for the free stuff. Does that sound familiar? Are we hitting a nerve right there? Another symptom that you're a cheapskate, you feel awkward when you're spending money, even when it's necessary. When you're buying groceries, you're like, oh my God, I just spent like $300. Like, it's like, my dude, you gotta eat, You gotta live through life. Life costs money. That's our tool to survive. We all need money, whether we like the concept of it or not. Or another really evident example is that, you're bragging about being efficient and I'm not spending here because I'm trying to be smart about this, and literally all that's doing, I mean, you're just lying to yourself. You got to stop lying to yourself, because everyone knows that you're a cheapskate. Like, you're cheap on everything, including yourself. You're cheating yourself out. So the first step to really do something about it is to allow your positive mindset to take over your system. Okay? And you got to face your fears. So complaining about high prices, right? And choosing not to spend on yourself, it's really reflecting your insecurities. Like, it's just showing you that you can't commit to progress. So you got to stop fearing your possibilities, because guess what? They can be good ones. Not everything's bad. Not everything's like the worst case scenario. What about the best case scenario? What about if you're really good and you really succeed? Have you thought about that? Of course it's a possibility, but if you don't visualize it, if you don't allow it to happen, I mean, it's never gonna happen, to be honest with you. So the first step is in your mind, just allowing the positivity to come through. Okay. Number 2, you need to allow yourself to make mistakes. Like, everyone makes mistakes, and they are the reason of our evolution. If you never fall down, literally, how do you get back up? You don't know, right? Because you need to fall down. And the more you fall down, the easier it is to get back up. If you're in a long and hard journey that you're going to fall a million times, you're prepared, That's the difference between people who don't commit to something and people who commit. Because when you commit, and yes, of course you fail, but you win, and you win big, because you don't care. You're just going forward. So, again, allow yourself to make mistakes. No one is perfect. Even your biggest hero, that untouchable person, right? They've made so many mistakes. Just look at anybody. I mean, from presidents, go with crazy stories, all the artists and rappers, and everybody's a human being. We're bound to make mistakes. So embrace the fact that you're a human being. You're not some program or some algorithm. You're a person. So people make mistakes, and it's part of our nature. It's part of how we grow. So get used to making mistakes. Another incredible tool is setting non-financial goals. So what do I mean by that? What's the minimum amount of times that you want to go out with your friends for a coffee without thinking of work? You should have a minimum. Like, I need to have an activity that clears my mind, that's not focused on my craft or something that I want to do, or a goal, just to like have fun, just at least once. A lot of people just get buried in their problems, and I don't want to go out because I don't want to spend money. Like, can't you just go out to the beach? Can't you just hang out, like literally have a beer close to your buddy or your friend? Like, of course. If you don't make time for it, it doesn't, like, you don't build relationships with other people and with yourself like in an instant. It takes work. It's not magically happening there. So, you you got to be open to creating relationships, more relationships with yourself and with others. Another thing that's really great, it's like, I'm trying to do that as of recently more and more. It's like pick at least one person that you don't talk to often and just catch up with them. Like call them, hey, what's up? It's been a long time. Like I know we haven't spoken in a long time, and I want to really catch up with you and see how you're doing. This is what I'm going through. It's really cool. Whatever. There's a good time to share. Like you gotta keep your network open. Anything in life, you need a support system. You need a network. It's very important. So often people who are cheapskates, they just don't invest in themselves or others. So you gotta invest in relationships. Relationships are what drives everything to a higher level. I could sit down and be like, hey, I'm great and I do all these things by myself, or I could talk your ear off about all the things that I do. But honestly, the most rewarding moments and the biggest accomplishments happen when you're working with other people and you're being inspired by other people. So being in a community, it's super important. When you give love out to the universe, it gives you back more. So like if you engage with people, you care about people, and the more you do that, the more you're going to receive rewards. Things that happen on their own time and out of your scope, your mental scope. Sometimes we tend to plan so much around things that we forget that you gotta let life happen. You gotta let that life happen. You gotta kind of free flow, and any roadblocks or any insecurities or anything of that matter will stop you from being able to enjoy that, and that's important. Another thing that's really cool that I did years ago and I still do, it's setting a savings budget, but don't save more than the threshold. So let's say that my savings threshold is $200, right? And for my salary, I get $200, or for whatever money I make. And that month I made $500. I'll spend it. Don't save it. Spend. If you got a threshold and that's okay, I'm good with this, spend the rest. And you have options. You can either buy yourself a gift, which in my case, I love watches. I'm a huge timepiece fan. Like, I don't care if they're expensive or not. Something that I love, and like I enjoy them. I like owning a timepiece, and I don't know. I'm fascinated by the designs and just the meaning of having time in your hand. It's something I really, really like. So if I get the chance, if I get a little extra money, like I'll definitely buy a watch. Or you can surprise a friend with a gift, or you can donate it to charity, or I mean, if you run out of options, I mean, you can always send it to me. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, just spend it, because by spending money, you're allowing yourself to be a little bit more free flowing. I'm not saying go and like buy the most expensive thing, but spend a little. Don't go overboard, but do spend a little. That leads to an interesting concept, and it is that if you've never done it, and this is something that's gonna free you so much, is like buy something extravagant that you would never regularly buy, of course, within a doable threshold, like, that guitar you've been looking online for all this time, like that microphone you saw that you really been wanting for the longest time, and you're like, you could afford it, but you don't want to pay for it because like, well, why? You have better things to do, and like, you're okay with your whatever mic, go buy it, a fancy dinner, that collector's edition Star Wars box. I mean, you name it. Just go out of your way to get something that makes you happy, something that triggers some kind of excitement that's not the normal, typical thing that you do every day, I think that's important. I think it's important when we have a problem and we feel like we're boxed in. So we got to go outside of the box, do something that's different, something that you're not used to doing. I'm not saying like just spend like crazy. You got to set a limit to spending too. Like if you're setting a limit to save money, you should also set a limit to spend. How much am I willing to spend without it breaking my bank? Okay. Again, it's all about balance. But if you're one of those people that don't invest on anything, like start by investing in yourself. Whether it is your craft or your own, the way you dress, because anything of that matter will impact how you perform. Like, the importance of feeling good is high on our schedule. If you are doing something amazing, right? Like, let's say you're really accomplished and you win an award or you win a Grammy or you're on TV, but you're not happy, I mean, that's not sustainable. You might be able to do it for a little bit of time, but misery is nobody's friend. So you don't want to be miserable and be successful. You want to be extremely happy and extremely successful, because guess what? You'll enjoy it more and you'll call for more success, because success calls success, money calls money, and you want to be open to those possibilities. So don't be cheap. Like, invest in yourself. Sometimes it's a hard decision because it might be a little bit difficult, but it pays off. I mean, guys, it pays off big time. A lot of the things that I've learned is because I've paid to be in a situation where somebody who's really experienced is teaching me something, and that changes my whole landscape. I've done so many trainings and courses and coaching programs that have taught me so much, and that they made such a big impact on me, and I can't emphasize the fact enough of the importance of investing in yourself. I'm always finding ways to make myself better, whether it's in a music level, as a person, just my performance. Like, how can I do things better and quicker so I can have more time to do what I enjoy to do, which I enjoy a lot of things. I love sports, wakeboarding. I love to compose. I mean, music is my biggest passion, but I also love technology. I love marketing. I love doing this kind of stuff where I'm sharing with you. So I want to have time to do it all. If I don't organize myself and I don't invest in tools that enable me to do this, there's no way that you can do, because it's hard to do 3 things, but it's harder if you have a bigger goal and you want to do 1,700 things. You need help from a lot of different places, from technology, from people who are helping you out. So get organized, get excited, and invest in yourself. And even if it's just I'm going to buy the book that I've always heard that is going to be great for me, that I've never paid attention to, like, go buy it, go read it. Start small. You're not going to start by doing something huge, but at least start. Take this moment on this episode of the podcast to serve as an inspiration for you to take that next step. It's the uncomfortable step. Once you take the first step, then things start to open up and you'll start, receiving all the gifts from the universe. But you got to allow it to happen, okay? And that being said, like, I got inspired with this topic this week because I saw this really amazing video by Stephen Harvey, which you probably know who Steve Harvey is. And he was talking about a story where he did not have enough means to get to his big audition, actually the audition that kind of triggered his entire career, which he completely crushed it on you. I'm not going to tell you the story. I encourage you to watch the video. I'll probably leave a link on the resource page. But basically, he, I don't know if you're religious, if you're watching if you have a religious belief or you don't believe in anything, but, we all, at some point in our life, we need to believe in something, starting with ourselves. But, I'm personally very spiritual and religious. So for me, God is my anchor. So in this case with Steve, that was the case for him. So he found himself against the wall. He said, you know what? I don't know what to do next. Like, I know I have to get to New York to this big audition. I don't have the means. Like, God, give me a sign or help me or something. And then he got a call from a payphone. It's really inspiring. So all this chain of events, just by asking and investing, because he had literally had $200 or something like that. And then he took everything that he had and he invested it in a bus ticket to get to a place where he got a gig, and that place gave him 2 more gigs, and then he reinvested that into bought a plane ticket. So as he was allowing the journey to take him on with him, he invested throughout his entire journey. And that is what allowed him to do it. Because if he said, oh, you know what, man, I don't have enough money, and like, I don't deserve this opportunity, because like if it was for me, like I could have a way to get there easier, and all these excuses, but he chose to stop the noise and to stop the insecurities from coming into his mind, and he pushed forward by investing in him. So I think that story is super inspiring. It definitely inspired me. So I hope that you check it out and you get inspired as well, and hopefully apply some of these concepts into your own journey as a professional. That being said, that's it. want to thank you again for tuning in. I'm sure this is going to be super valuable for you in the future. We're trying to bring a lot of really, really, really good content, and you're going to have a little bit mix of everything. We started with more like philosophical mind supporting topics in the beginning. We have the last episode of our mini series of the Dream House, or the House of Dreams, or the Dream Store, with the archetypes, and we have the investor archetype next, which is a topic that I'm really, really excited about, because that's where you gain a lot of momentum. How you exponentially grow everything is through investing. I guess you're seeing where the conversation is headed towards. We're heading toward the investment in yourself and in the things that you love, and how we can make that tenfold, how we can scale that into a big, big reward. That's it for today. I will see you on the next episode of the Music Chop Shop podcast next Friday. I want to remind you, finally, our resource page is live, because I know a lot of people wrote on Facebook like, hey, we can't see the resource page or whatever, and it just wasn't live. It's live now. So if you go to musicmastermind.com/resources, you're not only going to find the list of all the episodes of the Chop Shop there, but you're also going to find incredible links to inspirational content. We're gonna put out free software that we love to use there, and many, many other really cool resources that are designed to help you move the needle and just go forward with your professional career. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next Friday. Peace out.